Hi, this is Arthur, and you're listening to Haneefah Khaaliq from Indiana on Two Broads Talking Politics.
Are you listening?
Hi, everyone. This is Kelly, and you're listening to Two Broads Talking Politics. I'm on with my co-broad, Sophie. Hi, Sophie.
Hey, Kelly.
And we are thrilled to be joined today by Haneefah Khaaliq, who is running for U.S. Senate in 2022 from Indiana. Hello, Haneefah.
Hello, and thank you so much, Two Broads Talking. I appreciate being here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, I have been stalking the FEC website for a while to see who's running and was super excited to see that you are running in Indiana. Of course, we need to take some more Senate seats in 2022. So we are excited about your campaign. But start off by just telling us a little bit about you and your background and how you decided to run for U.S. Senate.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. And like I said, thank you guys so much for reaching out and inviting me onto the show. I think it's great whenever you have individuals who are providing a platform for conversation and dialogue with respect to politics and what's going on. And so I think that's great. So just a little bit about myself. Was born in Chicago, raised in the Hyde Park area. Loved Chicago, was born to two very ambitious young people who believed that they had their whole lives ahead of them and fell in love. And here I am. And spent a little time, like I said, in the Hyde Park area before my mother did end. The marriage did unfortunately end in divorce, but my mother remarried a United States steelworker. And we moved to the suburbs of Illinois. And eventually we eventually settled in Northwest Indiana, where I ended up graduating from Lake Central High School, going on to IPY, pursuing a career in education. I became a public school teacher, loved what I did there. But before even that, I was an AmeriCorps Vista and volunteer. And so I was right there in the trenches, working with people and companies and organizations, Habitat for Humanity, American Red Cross, doing a lot of volunteer work. And I think that's what gave me my drive for public service. So after public school teaching, I decided to go back to school and pursue my law degree. I have always been inspired by such people as Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, individuals who were just simply extraordinary in their ability to try to bridge the gap between two different groups of people. And they had a lot of courage to do that. So I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. I knew that that would give me the legal education background and knowledge that I needed to be able to go into politics. So I got my law degree, and while I was in law school, I decided this is it. I'm going into politics. Now I just need to decide which level I want to pursue. Because, you have your local, you have your state, you've got your federal. Which one do I want to do? And I decided after a year, if you can believe it, I know this sounds insane, but after a year, I was about in my second year of law school, which would have been 2015 to 2016. I started paying attention to the United States Senate. And I started paying attention to what was going on in the House of Representatives. And I said, these representatives for Indiana, they don't seem to be doing too bad. They seem to at least be trying to hold meetings and conversations with Hoosiers in their districts. And they seem to be making attempts to accurately represent, their, like I said, the constituents in their districts. And I also took an active look at what was going on in our United States Senate. And Kelly, Sophie, I can tell you right now, after watching the individuals who were there, I thought to myself, my goodness, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. We're in trouble when it comes to civil rights. We're in trouble when it comes to education. We're in trouble when it comes to even talking to constituents and getting their ideas and their opinions. We have completely benchmarked ourselves or detached ourselves from having the communication with Hoosiers that is so desperately needed in order to guide our co-sponsorship of legislation or creation of legislation. Why isn't it that these guys haven't held any town halls or meetings or invited anyone to the table? Why haven't they created an interactive process when they're creating their legislation? These guys have $1 million budgets. They're almost paid $200,000 a year. I'll say this, I'm on my 13th. I'm having these Hoosier hours with Haneefah all over the state. I'll be on my 13th public meeting inviting Hoosiers to engage with me. There is no reason. I'm just an average working American. I don't have $1 million budget. Can you imagine what I do with $1 million budget?
I think we should give you one and find out.
It's like, come on. And so I decided I'm going to run for the United States Senate because I think the 2 United States senators we have are falling asleep, literally. I think a picture was taken of one of them falling asleep during the impeachment trial. Give me a break. Listen, Hoosiers I'll just say this, Hoosiers deserve better than that. They deserve better than that. And let me not just say Hoosiers. I think when you know that you are going to be one of only 2 senators for your entire state, I think right off the bat, you need to recognize that you're going to have to do twice as much work. You're going to have to give out twice as much energy, and you're going to be twice as tired because at the end of the day, you should have at least made an attempt to talk with at least 10 people or 20 people or 30 people, however many you can fit in your calendar at one time, or if you want to break it down into individual group meetings, whatever the case may be, at least you made an attempt. You made an effort. Even if they were lining up for miles around to disagree with you, that's all right. That's their right. They have a right to disagree with you. Yes, they do. Because if they think they know more, then it's your job to listen to them. And you may not see eye to eye on everything. I think it's important to figure out what is disagreed on fundamentally. And that way we don't have to go back and forth and waste energy, only to agree to disagree with each other in the end. But that doesn't lead, just because there's a disagreement on one thing doesn't mean we have to throw away everything, because there's still so much left on the table. So, Kelly, Sophie, I wouldn't care if Hoosiers were lined up miles around to disagree with me. I'd listen to each one of them because I'm not a career politician. I have put in a lot of work in my past, a lot of energy, a lot of time to do things well without a single dime. And I think that anyone who's running for public service, they need to show that same track record so that their constituents are assured that they are not doing the thing for money.
I like that. You mentioned that you've been having these town halls with people. Can you tell us a little bit, what would you say are the top few issues that people really want to talk to you about?
Yeah, so usually it involves economics and jobs. People are very concerned about the money that they're bringing home. They don't understand why the minimum wage for Indiana is still at $7. And it hasn't changed in a decade. Give me a break. What's going on? Listen, so if the state legislature can't get it together, I tell you what, I'll fight for you on a federal level. And I believe in fighting for livable wages. And that goes even beyond minimum wage. Of course, I'm for the minimum wage, but what I'd rather see is livable wages, because livable wages allow me to actually live. They allow me to actually enjoy life. They allow me to be paid a certain salary and have health insurance, okay, so that I don't have to worry about if I get sick or if I should, get into an accident or something like that. That's what Hoosiers are concerned about. They're also, I tell you another thing that worries them is the pandemic. I've gotten a lot of questions about safety and reopening and, things of this nature. Nobody's really talked with me, really asked me any questions about the three things that I really are my top three, which make up my platform, my goals to expand the civil rights law, fighting for a quality education for all, and like I said, the poverty, which is what I intend to tackle as well. It's really, their questions have really revolved around real-time stuff and what are you going to do? What can you do for me right now? What I need, what are my needs right now, and what do you have to say about it?
So Indiana, of course, is a pretty red state, at least on paper. Voted for Trump the last two presidential elections, has 2 Republican senators, 7 of the 9, although there's some gerrymandering, 7 of the 9 congressional districts are represented by Republicans. So what is your path to victory? I mean, I know in 2008, Indiana voted for Barack Obama for president, so it's certainly possible. But what does that look like for you to be able to win this state?
So it means looking at data, and it means looking at countywide data, if we can even get to citywide data on what counties were almost blue. Wink, wink. But as a candidate, I also have to strategize. I have to think about, okay, the fact that 70 plus million Americans voted for Trump. In Indiana, I believe it was way over 50% voted for Trump. And I have to think about, okay, what is the philosophy behind that? What is the reason that occurred? And I've come up with some answers to that question, which I've shared with my team, and my team has also bounced ideas back off of me. And I think the conclusion that we arrive at is that Trumpians, if I can say that, they're, avid supporters of Trump, they somehow felt forgotten from Obama to, how it transitioned from in that time period. For some reason, they felt forgotten. And in my call time, which I'm really, those 2 words, call time, if you say them to me automatically, it just brings up all types of call time. Oh, I love it because I'm able to talk to Hoosiers and everything like that. But it's just having to get through as many, which is the goal that might be for that hour, because I'm an authentic person. For me, it's quality, not quantity. My team is saying quantity, get it going, and I'm saying, wait a minute, I'm in the middle of a 10-minute conversation, and this is getting good. They're relating to me. I'm relating to them. I am fulfilling the one thing that's added on to my 3 things, and that is conversation, dialogue, and engagement. And that's what I'm going to be all about as a candidate, and that's what I'm going to be all about as an elected official. It's having conversation, because I think this is the only way we're going to bring about change. So they're like, well, we need you to get through 50, 60, whatever. And I'm just like, I'm on my maybe my 20th call, and I'm spending 15 minutes and the time is, ticking. But I tell you what, in those conversations, I've spoken with Republicans, I've spoken with Democrats, and the Republican concern is always the same. You guys, Democrats, how can you guys lie so much? How can you, what else is the sentiment? How can you lie so much? How can you forget that 70 plus million people voted for Trump and all these different things? And that's my cue to listen, not to fight, not to argue, not to do any of those things, because when I get to the United States Senate, I'm not just representing Democrats, I'm representing Democrats. I'm representing Republicans. I'm representing Black, white, women, men, those who choose not to identify. I've got to listen to everybody. So it's a listening strategy, and communicating that I will be different and better even than the two Republicans that are there right now.
I want to go back and talk a little bit about education, which you mentioned as one of the main planks of your platform. And you had also talked about having been a teacher, so you experience in this realm. And education is always important, but I think more important now than people may have expected in the time of COVID-19, where everybody is very concerned about getting their kids back to school, but is it safe? I think a lot of people think of public education policy as something that's always set on a local level. So can you talk a little bit about what you'd like to accomplish in the Senate in the realm of public education?
Right. So there are many things that I hope to tackle, but one of them is going to simply be, I need to see where this money is being filtered to and how it's being distributed to the school districts. And so when I get to the United States Senate, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a committee of individuals who are going to help me research and study from the federal government to the state what is happening to this money and why is it that some districts, now I know we've got property taxes having to do with it, but I need to understand how this money is being distributed. Is it being distributed equally? What is happening with this? So that's number one. Number two, one of my sentiments as a public school teacher was materials, up-to-date materials and resources and tools that teachers have for teaching, for giving the education, aside from the raises that all public school teachers, I think, should be entitled to, being a concern, aside from just, not paying teachers an adequate salary. Is the materials that they are being provided with to use to teach the concepts. So I'd like to make that better in some way. And then the other thing that I'll be keeping an eye on is school districts and how because, I'm a civil rights agency director too. I'll be looking at how the districts are disannexing themselves. Basically separating themselves from one another, and to see if the Department of Education or Department of Justice need to do some scrutinizing and investigation into why they are separating themselves from their school districts. Because I have a feeling that there may be some discriminatory intent there that needs to be monitored, and it's not being monitored. So what happens when stuff is not monitored? Well, then people just run amok. So, amongst other things, I'm also I'm also a city's ADA coordinator. I don't know if I shared that with you or you saw that, but I'm also concerned about our students who are differently abled. Making sure that they have the funding and the resources that they need to be able to perform at an optimal level right beside their classmates, and that there's inclusion happening. I'm also concerned about early childhood education. I believe that a country that invests in its children is going to be at the top. And so I will definitely be looking into providing, making sure that early childhood education is provided for parents across the nationwide.
So we were, of course, very excited recently when Kamala Harris became the first woman vice president and first Black woman and first South Asian woman vice president. But her election as vice president means that there are currently no Black women in the U.S. Senate. We know that Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. What would it mean for you, and what would it mean for the country to if you're elected to the U.S. Senate, to be representing not just your state, but really be a representative for all Black women in the country?
That is correct, Kelly. Well, I discovered that when she became vice president, that did leave no Black women in the United States Senate. I tell you what, I began to think really about how, although my election would mean a great deal to Indiana, I think it would mean a great deal for the country. And that is because this campaign embodies so many different identities that people, I think, can connect with. And that is not only that I'm Black, that I'm female, but that I'm also a single woman and a woman who doesn't have children. So you've got familial status in there. Although I'm a Christian, my name is Arabic. My biological father practiced Islam and practices Islam. And it is a name that even Muslims can say, oh, well, she's got to have some connection with other religions outside of Christianity. And I do. I grew up in an interracial home. My stepdad came from a Polish American family. He was white. My mom was Black. And so I think that my votes in the United States Senate, like I said, representing Indiana, but my votes in the United States Senate mean the world to the country, because I'm just one more vote that they can count, that I'm one more person that they can count on to vote for progressive policies that include these marginalized communities that I identify with, but also, that I may not, have in my family or in my network. They can count on me because I know the feeling of being marginalized, and I know what it's like to face name discrimination and, all of these things that still unfortunately exist in our society. And so I would be very proud to do that. But I tell you what, more than proud, I would, in my mind, it's time to get to work. And that means sleepless nights because I want the American people, my whole goal is not only to gain support, but to keep it. And that's going to take hard work, even more hard work. Yeah. But you know what? I've been a public school teacher. So a lot of people don't know this, but public school teachers, man, we've got some real drive and backbone, man. We can take a lot. I think my time as a public school teacher gave me the backbone that I needed to just about accomplish anything there is in the world. Man, let me tell you, if you can monitor 30 to 40 kids in a classroom and they all do well, you're something.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with just my 2 kids that are doing school at home right now.
I'm having trouble with just my 1. So
Haneefah, you want to work hard to get elected, but we all want to help you work hard, and we want to work hard too to get you elected. So what can our listeners do at this stage? Even, it's a full year out from when the primary will be, but what sort of things do you need help with right now?
Yeah, so in a campaign, there's a lot of people that come together to help. And you've got just, I've got a mixture of like so many different people from all over the state. I've even got people reaching out, and this is amazing. I've got people reaching out across the country, calling in from Texas and New York and California and saying, what can I do to help you? And I just say, well, if you're not in the state, you can still do something virtual. So just send me, a message through my website that you want to volunteer, and we will make space for you, because I'm going to need people not only in Indiana, but from all over, whether in person or virtual, helping me spread the word of this campaign. So I don't know if it's like this where you guys are, but here in Indiana, they really will not publish anything. The major newspaper networks, they really won't publish anything until it's like right, at the end, because they want to give everybody a chance or whatnot. So there's been nothing published. And so what I'm depending on right now is interviews like this, word of mouth, people talking about me at their dinner tables, and the news of this campaign and what it stands for or what it could mean with their friends and their family. So that's what I've been asking volunteers to do. Giving the financial contribution, every amount helps. I'm not, saying even if it's $1, that always helps. And so I've got about maybe 50 to 60 volunteers on my team. And we are having an organization meeting coming up pretty soon. And because we've got to match people with their education, their skills, and their experience as to what, and their time, their availability, because, you've got to build up a grassroots. And so in that time of building up, we've got to have people, who are able to commit, a certain amount of time. And while I realize, I'm a working person too. I tell people all the time, my team all the time, you guys got to remember, I get up from 9 and I go to work from 9 to 5. And it's one of the things I'm most proud about. I'm most proud about it, Kelly and Sophie. I can't even tell you how proud I am of that, because my election to the United States Senate also reminds everybody that average working Americans can do this. They can do this. I've got a 9 to 5 job. I take an hour and a half lunch, maybe sometimes an hour, sometimes 30 minutes. But I'm a working woman. And I decided I was running for United States Senate, and hopefully people will reach deep down inside themselves and feel a motivation. It will not be a hindrance. Well, I'm not a millionaire. I can't do it. I'm not a millionaire and I'm doing it. You can do it too. All you have to do is believe. You have to believe, and you have to have a reason for your cause, and you have to know that you can do it.
And any fellow Chicagoans listening, of course, if you're thinking, what can I do to help the U.S. Senate? I mean, I can practically see Indiana from my house. Not quite, but pretty close. So it should be pretty easy for us to get across the border and go help too.
Yes, absolutely. And if not virtual, I will need people to make phone calls. For Indiana, we just got access to the vote builder list. And so we've got a bunch of Hoosiers that need a shout out and call and say, hey, do you know what's going on in your state? Something amazing is going on. You need to get in on it. Look her up, attend her Hoosier Hours with Haneefah. I'm having these across the state. I'm telling you, by the time those petitions are released, I will have had almost 30. I can't even believe it myself. 30 public town halls or meetings inviting people to come and talk with me. It's amazing. I every time I think about it, I'm just like, man, that's nuts, but the truth of the matter is that, guys, it doesn't take as much as we think. These guys who are there now, they could be doing this. They're not doing it because they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. And that makes me cry, because I'm sorry, guys, that's just not That's not even nice. That's not even being a nice person. I can't imagine being a United States Senator and making Hoosiers pay to sit and talk with me for an hour, or, oh, it's only VIP, or it's a targeted audience. Only those who I invite for a specific thing can come. It's like, what? Get out of here. Get out of here. Go now. No, not right now. It's like, no. And I'll tell you one thing else that I'm going to do. I'm going to put together, and I don't know how this is going to happen yet, and I keep sharing this with everybody, but I'm going to put together an online real-time system where Hoosiers or anyone can engage with me and see where I am in the process of legislation and also interact with me. Like I said, I don't know all the details. I imagine it's going to look a little something like Facebook or something, but it's just like a thing on my website for me to interact with people and kind of show, that I am, having these meetings and trying to invite Hoosiers to the table. I'm going to try to do it. I don't know how, but I have a feeling a bunch of tech people will be lining up to say, hey, I can help you with that. I want to provide a new form of representation, man. I'm telling you, I want it to sweep through not only the country, but the entire world. I think it's going to change the whole expectation of what a legislator, of what an elected official should be, and the accountability and the transparency. And if I'm booted out by my own system, so be it. So be it. That's democracy. That's what it's supposed to look like. I get tired of you, you're gone. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, Haneefah, thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. And we will put on our website links to your website and your social media. I believe you even have your cell phone listed all over the place so people can reach you.
Can you imagine? They keep saying, take that down. I'm like, well, I have another phone. I have another phone. It's like, it's a campaign line, but yeah, I want people to be able to pick up and call me or text me. And I may not answer right away, but I will get to it. Trust and believe, because that is what a United States Senator, that is what a representative, that is what, listen, we're in 2020. Someone said to me the other day, you need to take your phone. Listen, if somebody offends me, I just block them. We're in 2021. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
If I don't want to hear from you, if you get inappropriate or you start sending me prank stuff, I'll just block you. It's not a big deal. But there are, my fear is that in not having that type of communication, I'm resorting back to the old time legislator, which is I'm not accessible. You've got to go through 3 or 4 people to send me a message and talk to me. And it never gets to me because maybe they're feeling good. Maybe they're not feeling good. And you just happen to be a constituent on the other side of my attitude. And I don't have to send your message through, and it's like, no, I want to hear what people have got to say. And listen, if it's a threat, don't I still need to know who that person is? Yes. Yeah, I need to know. So come on, give me a break. I am doing a new, different thing. It's an experiment. But you know what? It reminds me of America. America is a great experiment. Someone said, we're going to put religions together. We're going to put races together. We're going to put people of all different backgrounds and beliefs and cultures. And it has created a beautiful display, not perfect, but a beautiful display of togetherness that you rarely find anywhere else in the world. And let me just say this too. I know what happened on January the 6th was an awful thing. It was an awful thing. But it shows us that we have yet many steps to make in perfecting this thing we call democracy. And we're doing it. We're doing it every day. We're moving on from it. We're taking from what happened, and we're learning from it, and moving in better, brighter direction each and every day. And we're doing it together. That's what matters the most. Together.
All right. Excellent. Well, Haneefah, thank you. And maybe we'll have you back on when it gets closer to the primary. And good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics, part of the Dimcast Podcast Network. Our theme song is called Are You Listening? Off of the album Elephant Shaped Trees by the band Immunuri, and we're using it with permission of the band. Our logo and other original artwork is by Matthew Weflin and was created for use by this podcast. You can contact us at twobroadstalkingpolitics@gmail.com or on Twitter or Facebook at Two Broads Talk. You can find all of our episodes at twobroadstalkingpolitics.com or anywhere podcasts are found.